side of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the Story on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on Both Sides of the Story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to Both Sides of the Story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or nobex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
He who knows not, and knows not that he knows not, is a fool. Avoid him. He who knows not, and knows that he knows not, is a student. Teach him. He who knows, and knows not that he knows, is asleep. Wake him. He who knows, and knows that he knows, is a wise man. Follow him.
The lips of the righteous teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Fixation of the soul is vanity. Destruction of the poor is their poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy place. Why do you fight each other? Why do you kill your brother? Then your reward will be the cemetery. Your reward will be in the cemetery. We got to build a better nation. Clean up job creation. Or there will be no future for you and me. The lips of the righteous, it teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Fixation of the soul is vanity. Ooh. Destruction of poor people is poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy place.
(2021 to 2030) is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 9th day of the 6th month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the 9th day of the first month of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. In this Disaster Risk Reduction Month, Road Safety Awareness Month, Brides Month, and Pride Month. It's National Immigrant Heritage Month in the USA. Members of the Caribbean diaspora in America are celebrating National Caribbean American Heritage Month. National Caribbean American Restaurant Week activities continue in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, otherwise known as the DMV. June is also Caribbean Cuisine Month in the DMV. Still in the United States, June is being observed as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, Cataract Awareness Month, Men's Health Month, Myasthenia Gravis Awareness Month, Aphasia Awareness Month, Congenital Cytomegalovirus Awareness Month, Migraine and Headache Awareness Month, National Safety Month, Scleroderma Awareness Month, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, PTSD Awareness Month, and Scoliosis Awareness Month. Es Día de la Rioja en España, where they're also observing Murcia Autonomy Day, and it's Heroes Day in Uganda. Hoy es miércoles el 9 de junio 2021 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes, desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
Your reward will be in the cemetery.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Electric vehicles, and the future is already here.
We are Evergo, the largest and most sophisticated network of charging stations.
We have created a network to get you where you want, safely and reliably, moving Jamaica towards a sustainable future.
Go wherever you want, and Evergo will be very close. filling you with the desire to continue discovering your destination. Find out more at evergonet.com or evergo_Jamaica on Instagram. Connected forward.
Hose Assembly and Supply HAS is the best at what they do. They supply hoses, fittings, and tools. They guarantee they are unbeatable in price and quality combined. Branded by you as the hose and tool boss with the most effective industrial solutions. Come, experience the joy of shopping with the Hose Boss. Call 876-923-3936 or visit them at 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent, or Montego Bay Trade Center. HAS would like to thank their customers for over 30 years.
C'est mercredi le 9 juin 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un du soit parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 10h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 9th of June, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Why do you kill your brother? Then your reward will be the same tree. Do, 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 do,
We started out this afternoon with that Persian apothegm, and apothegm is spelled A-P-O-T-H-E-G-M. The G is obviously silent. A Persian apothegm. Let's do that again. There are two words. Hold on, slow down there. Back up a bit. So there's a spelling, A-P-O-P-T-H-E-G-M, which is a noun. It's a concise way, a concise saying or maxim. An aphorism would be another word. But there's also a synonym, pronounced pretty much the same. That's what we mean, but spelled differently. A-P-O-T-H-E-M, which in geometry is a line from the center of a regular polygon at right angles to any of its sides. But the the term we are applying now to the opening expressions is APOTHEGM, apothem, which is a concise saying or maxim, otherwise known as an aphorism. APHORISM. So that's a Persian apothem, and Persian there speaks to a native or inhabitant of ancient or modern Persia, which is known as Iran. So there you go. So it's a Persian apothem. He who knows not and knows not that he knows not is a fool. Avoid him. He who knows not and knows that he knows not is a student. Teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows is asleep. Wake him. He who knows and knows that he knows is a wise man. Follow him. So that's the Persian apothem we started with this afternoon, and matched it with the matchless sound of the inimitable stepping razor, Peter Tosh. Fools die. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you would have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. We thank you for logging on to the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to both sides of the story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. There are two designated numbers you can dial to listen to Power 106 FM. One of them originating in the United States. That number is 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. And if you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, please call 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to watch both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube. All you need is a device, a smartphone, a not so smartphone, a laptop, a personal computer, otherwise known as a desktop, a smart TV with a browser. Open that browser, type YouTube. The YouTube website will come up. If you do that now, you'll see this video trending. If you're not seeing it, in the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to watch both sides of the story on YouTube. How about that? We thank those of you who have found other ways and means of tuning in and catching up with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? The lines are open, 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114 and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but also your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, and you can call us on WhatsApp. In fact, on that same number, you can get us directly on this side of the glass in the studios of Poro 106 FM. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. That's technically speaking Poro 106 FM's property, which has been placed in my custody for the time that I'm here at Poro 106. So that's the number, 876-365-3346. You can use it as a text line, a WhatsApp line, a voice note line, and you can also use it as a straight line to the studios of Poro 106 FM. Those are the coordinates. Those are the numbers. You know where to find us. And over to you. Looking forward to hearing from you. In the meantime, let's say hi and welcome to Norman Hines. Good afternoon, Norman Hines. Thanks for tuning in. Shines for Life. Good afternoon. Welcome. Sandy Hill. I'm so sorry. We've been missing a few of your programs. Sandy Hill is in the Cayman Islands. Greetings from Cayman, she says. She hosts a morning program. It's called, can I remember it, Sandy? Is it Cayman Marl Road? Cayman Marl Road, Cayman Marl Road. And she keeps us abreast of developments in the Cayman Islands from that platform, Cayman Marl Road. Good to have you on board, Sandy Hill. Welcome. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, Jamaica. Good afternoon and welcome to you. Sophia Nemad, we see you. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. Inez Campbell Brown in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Blessings to you too. Sandy Hill asks in Spanish, ¿Tú hablas español? You speak Spanish? Un poquito, Sandy. A little. My French is much better than my Spanish because I only did a reading course in Spanish, but I have a degree in French. And yeah, so there you go. Chuck Ray's asking, let's see, anyone tired of hearing enemy of the truth? And he puts a name there, and we're not going to call the name. We'll leave people to speculate who Chuck Ray might be referring to. And he should know. And Sandy goes a step further in a most Jamaican way. She says, but wait. Steve in Toronto, Canada. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Rani Bell in St. Thomas. Good day to you. Trust you're hearing us clearly this afternoon. Steve in Toronto, Canada says, please say hello to Miss Emma Wellington for me. Good afternoon, Miss Emma Wellington. Norman Hines says, Dervan, please say happy birthday to my daughter, Abeo Hines. Hello, Abeo Hines. Happy birthday to you, Abeo. What's the meaning of your Christian name, Abeo? What does it mean? Abeo, A-B-E-O, Abeo Hines. Or maybe your father can tell us. Please go ahead, Mr. Hines. I have a fascination with names, actually. Jennifer Stewart on Q Road in Kencott, St. Andrew. Good afternoon to you. Perhaps the most famous person in Kencott, Jennifer Stewart. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for making it both sides of the story. Poro 106 FM. Let's see if we can clear a couple of messages on WhatsApp. Let's see. Some of these messages came in this morning. Good morning. This one says, It's Tamara. Hello, Tamara. Let's read Tamara's message now. Having a problem with NWC, 6 weeks now. My mother, 6 weeks now. Let's start again. Having a problem with NWC. 6 weeks now, my mother don't get no water. Don't owe them, and the chicken she raise are suffering. All right, let's come back to the message.
of wisdom.
Win more money with Lucky Play Lotteries. Play Big Pot, Super 5, and Dream 6 today. The time by Lucky Play Lottery is
2:31.
Contractors and developers, Coast to Coast Quarries is having a 10% sale on all size stones. Coast to Coast Concrete has relocated to 5 Lady Musgrave Road and has opened a new plant at Somerset in Mandeville. So for all your concrete needs, including blocks and marl dust, look no further. Coast to Coast Group of Companies, expanding to serve you better. Call 876-706-3230, 876-754-7472, and 876-904-555527.
Don't waste time trying to fill prescriptions. Community Meds Pharmacy makes it easy for you. We have the only drive-through pharmacy in Portmore. Get your blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, HIV, pregnancy, and other tests done. Open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday and public holidays, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Community Meds Pharmacy, Lot 5, Congreve Park, Hellshire Main Road. Telephone 740-4962. That's 740-4962. We are convenient and affordable.
Win big this summer. Enter the Gleaner Star Luxurious Escape Competition. Win the grand prize of 2 weekends for two at an all-inclusive hotel plus $25,000 in groceries, weekly cash prizes, and more. Buy a printed copy of the Gleaner Star. Enter the serial number at the front page by texting 876-322-7967 or online at gleanerluxury.com. Competition runs from June 6 to July 10, 2021. See the Gleaner and the Star for details. Your luxurious escape awaits.
Fixation of the soul is vanity. Destruction of the poor is their poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. To continue reading Tamara's message. Well, let's go again. She says, good morning. And this came in, as we said, just after 8 o'clock this morning. She says, it's Tamara. Having a problem with NWC. 6 weeks now, my mother don't get no water. Don't owe them. And the chicken she raise are suffering. My brother applied for my pipe over 5 months now. Don't owe them from they connected the pipe. No water. Only bill every month. Tired of coming. Something them every day. Water coming. Or tired of coming. Every day water coming and none. Connect. Or the counselor. He connects nothing. Please connect someone for me. The bathroom stay bad. Want to bathe and have dirty clothes. And this is from Tamara. We have forwarded your string of messages to Andrew Cannon of the National Water Commission. Tamara, we trust you will get the desired result from such a connection. Let's see who else is on board. Lacey in West Rural St. Andrew says, Mr. Dervan, the people in the business places rising the price of all things by 1,000%. It wicked. Well, we are really sorry to hear that that's been your experience. The Consumer Affairs Commission, I think I mentioned yesterday that I popped into a supermarket. Note the term popped in. I didn't go shopping. I just popped in to pick up an item. And I saw a member of the team from the Consumer Affairs Commission at work. Apparently, he was checking prices, making his notes, and so on and so forth. The Consumer Affairs Commission is in the field, and they were anxious. In fact, I'm not sure. I'll have to check their website to see how much information they've been able to gather, how much data they've been able to collect to help us as consumers to make more informed decisions. We'll perhaps have to arrange for an interview pretty soon so that we can give some hope to Lacey in West Rural St. Andrew about the prices. Well, one can understand for those who go shopping, whether daily, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, that they would be able to discern, or more than that, to pick up or to identify significant increases in the price of certain products. We are all aware, or we by now, most of us should be aware that there are certain global situations that we have very little control over by virtue of the fact that we consume certain items like chicken, and they need feed made from corn and etc. And those commodity prices have gone through the roof on account of all the various setbacks brought on by COVID-19, the hazards of certain jobs now leading to spikes in remuneration in some respects, or increased cost for per container, for example, in order to help them to manage their costs. So it's a combination of factors. Here in Jamaica, if we haven't learned self-sufficiency by now, then surely there's no hope for us, quite frankly, because we have known for a long time, a very long time, the importance of being able to feed ourselves on a consistent and sustainable basis. And what we have been experiencing is just another reminder that when we are dependent on others for our food, it's going to cost us. As a former member of the constabulary would say, dearly. Jamaica will pay dearly. Well, Jamaicans are paying dearly for our failure to get a grip on how we go about feeding ourselves. Yeah. So we're paying. That's what's happening, Lacey, in West Rural St. Andrew. We are still paying dearly in more ways than one. GMAC says, good afternoon, Dervan. What's this now? I see number 11. N. Just so you know that Cayman Marl Road is not the official news site for the Cayman Islands. Not all the information disseminated is jurid information. Uh, all right. Well, thank you very much, GMAC, for your note of caution. Uh, we have met Sandy Hill virtually, and we have participated in her program, not dealing with Cayman politics, but on speaking on general issues. But thank you very much for your message, GMAC. All the best, and I'm sure if Sandy Hill is still listening and watching, she can respond. Feel free so to do, Sandy. Solji in Massachusetts says, "Good afternoon, Sir D. Hello to you and all the other listeners. Hope everyone is having a blessed day." Solji from Massachusetts, doing an oil change while listening to the program. Busy. Oh, business is picking up slowly but surely. And let's take a look at this link that Solji has sent. It's a Facebook link. Oh, mobile pit crew oil change. So that's the nature of your business, Solji? Mobile pit crew oil change. Well, now we know. Now we know, and as you say here, business is picking up. We're happy for you, Solji, in Massachusetts, and we hope things will continue to get better, and business will indeed continue to get better. All the best. I'm seeing here is this Lloyd Kelly who is calling us on the straight line, Mr. on this straight line, which doubles as the WhatsApp number and the text line. Mr. Kelly, would you like to speak with us on air? Good afternoon.
No, not really. Dervan.
But I'm on air. But I'm saying I'm on air. I'm not sure how else I'll be able to speak with you. Right. All right. No problem. Well, we'll talk off air then. Thanks for the call. All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. Saw a picture of our former colleague here at Power 106 FM, Arroyo Eubanks, having a blast in Montego Bay, St. James, alone. So he seems to be observing the government's protocol, COVID-19 protocols. Good of you, Arroyo. So why did I go there? Because there's a story, and this happens sometimes now. You save the story, and you're trying to remember which of the apps or which of the I remember now. So let's go there. So there's a story coming out of this pandemic, and I say coming out, knowing that we're still very much in, but the survey has been done during, and perhaps is still being done, but these are the findings of this most recent survey during this time of COVID-19, looking at the 10 most livable cities in 2021. The 10 most livable cities in 2021. Heading the list is Auckland, New Zealand. Auckland, New Zealand. And that's, of course, because New Zealand's Prime Minister has done a remarkable job in managing COVID-19. Jacinda Ardern, Jacinda Ardern, and she doesn't play. No, Jacinda Ardern doesn't play, except if she's playing with her daughter, who is still pretty young. In fact, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, still an infant, I believe. Time flies. I don't think. No, as much as time flies, I think that she's still an infant. So Jacinda Ardern, coming out of New Zealand. Here's a current story. Jacinda Ardern warns of consequences after 3 Melburnians caught trying to enter New Zealand. Authorities say Australian family was picked up at Auckland Airport after flying in from Sydney despite ban due to... Davin, you're going to have to help me with these time signals. I'd hate to miss a time signal, an accurate time signal. Hold on, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:47.
With all that's been happening for 2020, it may be easy to forget about the transatlantic hurricane season. But don't worry too much because we've got you covered. Literally, with tarpaulins, umbrellas, and raincoats.
We have candles, flashlights, lanterns, and batteries, cleaning and sanitization supplies, brooms, rakes, bins, multi-purpose containers, and buckets. We even have drinking water and non-perishable food items too.
Let us help keep you and your family taken care of this hurricane season. Stay aware, stay safe, and get prepared. At Bashco, at 30 years, giving you more.
The lips of
Thanks for staying with us on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We're looking at the 10 most livable cities in 2021. Auckland, New Zealand heads the list. And we've used the opportunity to go to a current story coming out of New Zealand, where the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, is warning of consequences after 3, as we were saying before this, sharing the story, she doesn't play, except having fun with her daughter. Seriously though, Jacinda Ardern warns of consequences after 3 Melburnians caught trying to enter New Zealand. So the story is, Jacinda Ardern has warned there are consequences for people breaking New Zealand's coronavirus border controls after 3 Melburnians were caught trying to enter the country during the Australian city's lockdown. New Zealand has placed a pause on travel from Victoria given the current outbreak in Melbourne, Australia. But authorities revealed today that this family was picked up at Auckland Airport last week after flying in from Sydney. The country's Director General of Health, Ashley Bloomfield, described the trio's actions as disappointing. Those 3 people were identified when they arrived and were immediately transferred to a managed isolation facility in Auckland, where they will remain for a 14-day period, Bloomfield said. He said they had returned day 0 negative tests. The New Zealand COVID-19 response minister, Chris Hipkins, said they had provided the incorrect information. Where have we heard that before? Anyway, this is New Zealand. They provided the incorrect information, but were still picked up by authorities. And the story goes on. The New Zealand Herald reported the group had been seeking to attend a funeral in Auckland this week. The Trans-Tasman bubble has been on hold between Victoria and New Zealand since the 25th of May, although some exemptions have been announced for New Zealand residents returning home. The Ardern government is yet to say whether it will extend the pause on quarantine-free travel beyond 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, after Victoria announced it would ease restrictions from Friday. Ardern, the New Zealand Prime Minister, said the case demonstrated that people seeking to enter the country against government guidelines would be caught. And the story goes on. But clearly, New Zealand, one of the success stories coming out of, and again, we know we're still in it, but in a manner of speaking, one of the success stories coming out of this COVID-19 pandemic. And you would think, though, that she would have taken her vaccine already. Well, listen up. New Zealand PM Ardern to take first dose of COVID-19 vaccine next week. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said on Tuesday, that's yesterday, that she would get her first COVID-19 shot at the end of next week as the country prepared to receive another 1 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine. For me, it's been important that I allow those in the most at-risk group to be prioritized. That's what she said. So she's the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She could have gotten her first shot a long time ago. But she says, for me, it's been important that I allow those in the most at-risk group to be prioritized. The Prime Minister of Jamaica said something similar. And the opposite happened. People are saying, why the Prime Minister don't want to take the vaccine? And why the Health Minister don't want to take the vaccine. If they're not taking the vaccine, we're not taking the vaccine. Well, here's New Zealand's Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, saying, for me, it's been important that I allow those in the most at-risk group to be prioritized. And that's what I've been saying. I haven't taken the vaccine yet because they haven't gotten to my age yet. Last time I checked, they were at 50 and over, plus, for the priority for last weekend, the blitz. For that weekend blitz, it was for those with second doses, which apparently turned out quite well. More than 700 people getting the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Right. So New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says she will get her first COVID-19 shot at the end of next week as the country prepared to receive another 1 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine. She says it's been important that she allowed those in the most at-risk group to be prioritized. I'm choosing to be vaccinated at this point, she says, in order to play my role in demonstrating that I consider it to be absolutely safe and also really critical to keep others safe. So Prime Minister Ardern is telling us that she's leading by example. Pfizer has scheduled delivery of an estimated 1 million doses of vaccine to New Zealand in July, and Jamaica has scheduled 1.2 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine for August. And let's see. Right, let's leave New Zealand there for the time being. How did we get there? Because there's a story we came across in Forbes magazine, I believe it was, the 10 most livable cities in 2021. Auckland, New Zealand heads the list. In second place, Osaka, Japan. Osaka, Japan. Isn't that where the Olympics will be held? Yeah. Osaka in Japan. And so that's number 2 on the list of the 10 most livable cities in 2021. Adelaide, Australia is in third place. 4th, Wellington, New Zealand. 5th, Tokyo, Japan. 6th, Perth, Australia. 7th, Zurich, Switzerland. 8th, Geneva, Switzerland. 9th, Melbourne, Australia. And 10th, Brisbane, Australia. Australian cities dominating the list of 10 most livable cities in 2021. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 cities in Australia. 1, 2, 2 cities in New Zealand, 2 cities in Japan, and 2 in Switzerland. So those are the 10 most livable cities in 2021. Auckland, New Zealand; Osaka, Japan; Adelaide, Australia; Wellington, New Zealand; Tokyo, Japan; Perth, Australia; Zurich, Switzerland; Geneva, Switzerland; Melbourne, Australia; and Brisbane, Australia. Now, how about the 10 least livable cities? In other words, people are not exactly tripping over themselves to live in these cities. Heading the list, Damascus in Syria. Damascus in Syria. Was it Paul who was on the road to Damascus? Damascus in Syria, heading the list of the 10 least livable cities. In second place, Lagos, Nigeria. Nigeria is the most populous country on the continent of Africa, I believe. And they speak a ridiculous number of languages. I can't remember it right now, but like hundreds, lots of languages spoken in Nigeria, including English, of course. In fact, English is the official language, I believe. In third place, Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea. That's the third least livable city in 2021. In fourth place, Dhaka, Bangladesh. In fifth place, Algiers, Algeria. In sixth position, Tripoli, Libya. In seventh place, Karachi, Pakistan. In eighth place, Harare, Zimbabwe. In ninth position, Douala, Cameroon. And in 10th place, Caracas, Venezuela. The 10 least livable cities in 2021. Damascus, Lagos, Port Moresby, Dhaka, Algiers, Tripoli, Karachi, Harare, Douala, Caracas. And as we said earlier on, the 10 most livable cities in 2021, Auckland, Osaka, Adelaide, Wellington, Tokyo, Perth, Zurich, Geneva, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Thought we'd share that with you. Let's greet some more of our listeners and viewers joining us. Norman Hines says Abeo means come to bring happiness. Abeo means come to bring happiness. How appropriate. Thank you for sharing, and happy birthday again to your daughter, Abeo Hines, Norman Hines. Randy Williams says, not because you don't see some of us on Facebook, we still need we big up. New York City is blazing, bro. Stay cool, Randy Williams in New York City. Stay cool. Randy Bell says, I'm here. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. You're good, sir, in reference to hearing us on Power 106 FM in St. Thomas. There's more after the break.
Fixation of the soul is vanity.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
Manchester Peace Coalition and Power Services Company Limited present Celebrating Him 2021, the virtual edition, under the patronage of Mr. R. Oliver Mayer, Jamaica's Consul General in Miami, Florida. Join me, Dervan Malcolm from Power 106 FM, and my co-host Nadine Blair of Love 101 FM as we celebrate fathers against the odds. 6 p.m. Jamaica time, 7 p.m. in the US and Canada. Father's Day, Sunday the 20th of June, featuring Kevin Downswell, Rory Ball, Andrea Delcita Wright, the JCF Choir, NCU Choir, and Carly Knight Francis. Proceeds in aid of the Windsor Lodge and Hanbury Children's Homes, plus promoting harmony in the family and community. Get your tickets online at mpco.iteneri.com.
Jamaica is blessed with adequate water supply. Let us do our part in protecting this precious resource and enhance the productivity of our farmers. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow, as what we do today will impact our lives tomorrow. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Let's take a call coming through on the WhatsApp line. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I was trying to get you yesterday about Miss Marvin Engineer. The last minute she actually get her point done. There's no problem with us there. But anyhow.
Back off the phone a little. Back off the phone a little, if you're able to. You're peaking.
Yeah.
Coming through very loud. Go ahead now, please.
Okay, sorry for the peak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hear in 10 city, I think 20 city. And what I'm to Kingston, Jamaica, they no longer have the best city in the world.
No, apparently we haven't met the criteria.
Okay. All right. They said when I was growing up, and even to now I'm still hearing this argument that if you do the same thing over and over and expect a different result, they call it insanity. That means the person must be crazy. Is that true, right?
Yeah, I think that quote is attributed to, is it Einstein? One of those. Mm-hmm.
Hey, why I ask you that? I hear something in the news with a lady having a baby in Spanish Town there, and the baby died. And the people in charge of the hospital said proper procedure was followed. But the lady also said she have that same experience, I think, last year. So that means something not go right there, so that.
Yeah, it's a most unfortunate and tragic occurrence. We would hope that we're able to keep those cases to zero, or as close to zero as possible. There's a tendency, and we don't have all the details, and the documentation on this matter. Surely something is not right, and it's always sad that it takes the loss of a life for us to pay attention to what is happening or not happening within our public health facilities. Again,
yeah, what strike me most when these things happen? The person to happen to, you have to hear them extend their side. But the hospital, they only issue statement and you don't have anybody come up front and try to explain what happened.
No, that's not true actually. In this case, a senior medical officer at the hospital, if not the senior most medical officer at the hospital, I heard her in at least one interview on Nationwide in the afternoon with Cliff Hughes. I heard her there, and she was there for quite a while actually, answering questions, or in some instances, I don't want to say refusing, but claiming that she is not able to give certain information or answer certain questions because she's still gathering information on what exactly happened. So someone from the hospital has in fact stepped forward to to answer questions, or at least to attempt to answer, insofar as that has been possible, considering that an investigation continues into the matter.
And when it's completed, somebody will held accountable for it.
Well, we don't know until we get to that point. It's one of those things, and again, where we don't know the details, as we've said, we don't have all the information and the documentation, but it's one of those things where you have the nurses working together, and the doctors work together, and they also work with the nurses. And they usually, for the most part, put forward the same information. In other words, because I spent so many months, almost a year, visiting and spending time with my mother, my late mother, in the hospital. I did a lot of observing, and I listened a lot and recognized that there are certain procedures, in fact, and that for the most part, the nurses make sure that they check all the vital signs at different points. And again, I don't know if it's a case of when visitors are around that they do those things, but I've been there with or without other visitors. And generally they seem to be on target or on point in making a note at different points, checking on patients, etc. And so there are standard procedures that they follow. What perhaps might be debatable is the timeliness of certain interventions, and the level of compassion and mindfulness that they apply to each patient. So that is where the lines tend to be a little blurred. But for the most part, from what I've seen after spending almost a year supporting my mom in hospital, what was clear was that there are certain routine things that they do. So when they come forward and they say to us from a hospital that we followed the regular procedures, chances are they would have, except that one could now inquire into why this didn't happen when it was supposed to happen, and then try to match the data or the documentation with that action or inaction. So it's not as straightforward as it seems. It raises a lot of questions.
Okay, because you said chances are they could have, but what about chances are they probably don't? Because I don't say what the lady is saying is true, but she said when the baby born, when the baby move with a girl baby, the baby move her tongue, and she signaled to the nurse that the baby is alive and they should assist her. The nurse says she has to wait. I think that's when the problem developed and the baby died.
Yeah, and that sometimes come, and again, we don't know all the facts, but just surmising based on the limited information, that here's what can happen. So, for example, I don't want to go back there, but let's just say, let me not go back there. Let's just say, here's a scenario. Because there's a tendency when we are seasoned in a profession, whether we are doctors or nurses, broadcasters, etc., we would have accumulated experience to so many situations, so many births, so many trauma cases, etc. And so there's a tendency, there usually is a trend when certain things or triggers, there are trends and triggers. So when you say to me, Doc, the baby is smiling, just for argument's sake, playing devil's advocate. You say to me, Doc, the baby is smiling. The doctor, in his or her experience, would perhaps know that when the baby is smiling, it means that that the baby is going to go through a period where it moves from, the child moves from laughing to from smiling to laughing, and then back to smiling. Laughing might be bad, but the child will eventually get back to smiling. I wonder if you see the point I'm making. So that's a trend based on that. So the doctor might say, so the doctor might not respond. You might think something is wrong and you think, but this is strange and this is an emergency. The doctor might very well, the doctor or the nurse, using their accumulated years of experience and exposure to trauma and childbirth and all of these things, to apply that to your situation, which would be failing to recognize that not every single situation that starts out on that line ends up where all the others ended up for good. So, so it's a matter of whether you treat every single case as a unique case, or whether you decide to take just one piece of information out of what is happening in this case now and what happened in the last 100 cases that you saw, when you're just prepared to go along with what you would have seen over those 100 cases, then you would give little attention to what the patient might be pointing out to you, because you are supposed to have the experience and you have seen this before, you have experienced this before, and this is how it always works out. Well, life should teach us that this is not how it always works out, because every case is different. So ideally, we really should treat, I'm not saying that was or wasn't done in this case. I'm just surmising that based on what I would have seen as well and been exposed to, spending a lot of time in hospital with my mother, that they do follow the procedure. They always have those boards. Those clipboards. Yes.
When I hear the news, when I think that's running in my mind, I know those who work are very stressful work. I have a couple of people be did it for the day, so sometimes it's kind of stressful.
You have hit another note. Hold on. You have hit another note. A very important point you have made as well. There's a tendency to it's not easy, which is why those who manage nurses and doctors in the public health service need to take cognizance, and doctors and nurses should know better than this, in terms of managing the shifts in such a way that the nurses and the doctors and the other key members of the team are not being overworked to the point where their concentration and thought levels and everything else become blurred on account of the being overworked. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Halfway Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life.
Kite flying is a wonderful pastime and enjoyable hobby, but flying kites near a JPS power line is a no-no because the kite can get caught in the power line, cause damage or fire or even death. These damages can be to you, your loved one, your neighbor, or even a stranger. It's so much safer to fly your kite in wide open spaces away from the JPS power lines. Stay safe. Protect life and property. For assistance, call 1-888-225-5577. JPS, powering what matters.
Thanks for holding.
Yeah. As I was saying, those work are very stressful. So sometimes, probably when the lady was calling to the nurse for help, because probably she have so much thing to do. Because she said at one point, the nurse said, must say to somebody, she feels weird. That means she probably should overwork.
Yeah.
So they have to manage their system more better.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the other element is where the health professionals tell us that they have to be mindful of their own mental health, and so they try not to get too connected or to be pulled in too deep into a relationship, so to speak, for want of a more sophisticated word, a relationship with a patient, because then whatever happens to that patient is likely to weigh on us, especially if there's if the turnout is not favorable. And so what tends to happen for some health professionals is that they become they become cold. They become cold, and they dispassionate, and what comes from that usually is not good for the patient, with that kind of disconnect. So the health professional might think that they're doing it, might tell you they're doing it for their own mental health by not being too connected and overly concerned, because they have to look out for their mental health. But that can come out the wrong way if that is their attempt. It goes wrong sometimes, and then you come across as a health professional as being cold, as opposed to being professional. So you just go straight down the middle. I'm your doctor. I need to check your vital signs. I check your vital signs. So even if you're saying, how you do, doc? Boy, you look like my grandsonny. Make I tell you something. So and so. They try not to, some of them try to stay away. Yeah, that kind of thing. But so it's a combination of factors, but it's always sad when it ends up like that. And it just means we need to, no matter how experienced we are, we need to treat every single case on its own merit. On its own merit. We can't take the last 100 cases that you dealt with and broad brush the next 5 that you will have to deal with.
Yeah, probably even the last one in danger, you say everything all right. So you have to, understand. So you have to take every case different.
That's right.
All right. I want to switch gear a little bit.
Yes.
I hear your Rascal yesterday, and him saying when people call people my dog, I think him saying I have a problem with it.
Yes.
But I think if him grew up in the inner city and know slang work, I think him would understand, say, all right, I come and say, yeah, my road dog. What I really mean is, yeah, I'm friend, yeah, him spot. I'm on say, yeah, me, fire, yeah, him. When I used to live in Jamaica, I remember where me come from. I remember one time I go on a street and hear a liquor or someone. They used to have some little ongoing violence of the year. And every minute the security force, the police and the soldier would drive through to make sure everything all right. I remember I was going up by the bus stop and me arrest them on the pan. Them boy. I see people start move fast when me look at it. Police and soldier come. After a while, them change the slang. When the police alone come, they say red stripe. Then after a while, when the soldier come, them say Heineken. So if you go up in the inner city, you understand slang, and sometimes really mean nothing out of the real disrespect about it. I would say I saw the inner city. You don't see that way?
No, we have always had a culture, a subculture. That's a culture behind or beneath, however you look at it, the general culture of the society. There's a subculture where people create their own words, terms, phrases, turn of phrases, expressions, slangs for their own purpose. That's not unique to Jamaica or inner cities in Jamaica either. It happens all over the world, not least of all in the great United States of America, where they create ways of expressing themselves and endearing themselves to others and others to them. So it's the nature of people. That's what people do.
Yeah, so but I think Westcaba don't like hear it, so but you must understand that's the inner city apart.
No, he doesn't need to understand. He has a problem with it. That's his problem. He has a problem with it, and there's pretty much nothing he can do about it other than caulking, as they say, caulking his ears whenever he hears anybody with that kind of slang. But that's how it is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I guess when I hang up in go and call and response, I'm going to hang up and listen. I thank you very much for giving me a little listening here.
All right. Thanks for the call. Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Andrew Cannon of the National Water Commission assures us that he will call Tamara and find out the nature and extent of her water situation and the role, or perhaps lack thereof, played by the National Water Commission. Solji in Massachusetts says, yes, sir, thank you. Michael from Belle Plaine, Clarendon says, hey, teacher, to you and all your listeners, I'm here listening to your program. It's well overcast here. Big up Miss Olive Rascava and June in Canada. Keep safe, teacher. God's blessings. All the best, Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. More messages before we take another break in another few minutes. Jacqueline Simmons, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Jean Beverly King, Lady Jean, good afternoon. How's Monique in St. Anne? Sophia Nemard says that's what Mr. Holness was trying to do and they almost killed him. And that's in reference to the New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern putting off taking the vaccine until the most vulnerable in New Zealand would have gotten theirs. And so she plans to take hers shortly. The story we were reading earlier on. So I was saying our Prime Minister here in Jamaica tried that by saying he wants everybody else, in terms of especially the most vulnerable people, to take their vaccine first. So but the people in Jamaica say, see it? Me telling us there's something wrong with the vaccine. How come the Prime Minister not take it? And then here's the thing now. When the Prime Minister eventually decides to take the vaccine, the people still, even Rascava, say, why, I'm not believe it. Because all the woman, the lady where she stand up, the nurse, she just move. Oh, she do that so quick. That look like, that look fake. And that went viral on social media. Fake. Oh boy. What a country. What a country. What a country. So it is. So you can see the difference. That's what culture is all about. The culture, C-U-L, there's a tendency when we talk about culture, C-U-L-T-U-R-E, for people to think about song and dance. What is culture? Culture is simply defined as a way of life. A way of life. That is culture. So we're seeing, you see the difference now between the culture of New Zealand and the culture of Jamaica. Big difference. Big difference. So that is what makes a difference. That is what determines how a country does, whether the country does well or not. It's a function of the culture of the society. It's that culture that determines how well that society does. Now, changing culture, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because when these nuances are entrenched, note the use of the word entrenched, they run deep. How do you uproot all of that? How do you uproot that? That doesn't happen in a day or a week or a month or a year or even 5 years. Perhaps a generation or two. Serious business. That's what culture does. It makes or breaks a society. Thank you for your message, Sophia. Lady Jean in Monique St. Anne says, good afternoon, Dervan, the team and listeners. I would like to share my experience with you. This happened in the year 1976, the International Year of the Child. My fourth child was born at the Spanish Town Hospital. That year, the maternity ward was so overcrowded that there were 2 mothers on one bed. There were mothers in passageways in every possible area, mothers and babies. Nurses, trained midwives delivered babies. Or nurses trained midwives to deliver babies, is that it? Has this changed? My son was delivered by a nurse. My doctor would have been called if there were complications. Are there not enough trained midwives employed at Spanish Town Hospital? That's the question. And this is a little disappointing in terms of what has unfolded at Spanish Town Hospital, because we did share on this program some time ago a patient's experience. A patient had a wonderful experience at Spanish Town Hospital. That was sometime last year. Time flies. I don't remember. Maybe last year. And we shared that experience on this program. And the person spoke glowingly of the staff at Spanish Town Hospital. So when I heard the news, I was thinking, no man, that has to be another hospital. Can't be Spanish Town Hospital. But it just goes to show, it perhaps takes or took, let's for argument's sake say it took maybe 300 people to take Spanish Town Hospital to where it is now. But then it only takes 1, 2, or just a handful to pull down all of that work. So it is.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:30.
NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. Pension order vouchers with payable dates in June 2021 may be encashed as of June 3. Collect all your June payments at once at your designated post office. Please note, pension vouchers can only be encashed at post offices. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
the righteous, teaches many.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello to Sharon Campbell. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and all the Power 106 family. Love you. Many happy returns, Sharon Campbell. Winston, otherwise known as Errol, in Maryland, says, good afternoon, sir, from the DMV. So sorry to say, COVID-19 has nothing to do with what's going on. When you pay people to stay home, production will drop. Maybe one of the experts will come on and talk. All right. Thank you. Is it production or productivity you meant, Errol? Thank you for your message on YouTube. And keep the other messages coming in. We're going to pause for a moment and get back to more of your calls and messages by ensuring that those who are yet to get the message of the tremendous work Health Connect Jamaica has been doing, that you are listening now and ready to get the message, the story of Health Connect Jamaica, and how Health Connect Jamaica has been impacting and indeed changing lives here in Jamaica. And so we're delighted to have joining us, not for the first time, Dr. Jeffrey Barrow, Director of Health Connect Jamaica. Good afternoon, Dr. Barrow. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm doing great, and thanks again for having us back.
It's a pleasure to have you on board here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. We are conscious of the fact that there are always those among us who would, for one reason or another, who would have missed our previous conversations with respect to Health Connect Jamaica. And because you're providing such an invaluable service, we are happy to use the opportunity once again to get the word out there. So for those hearing about Health Connect Jamaica for the first time, what is Health Connect Jamaica?
Okay, so Health Connect Jamaica, in short, is your opportunity to get access to HIV treatment and care services in the private sector for free or for a very affordable cost.
What determines, since you just hit that note, what determines whether I get it for free or at a minimal cost?
So we do an assessment to determine your ability to pay for the costs out of pocket. We follow the WHO, the World Health Organization, standards and thresholds for health expenditure. So what we do is we basically just ask you a series of questions, and I can tell you that for all of the folks that we've interacted with, almost 300 clients so far, that about 80 to 90% of them we pay for their full costs.
And is that a one-off arrangement or an ongoing one?
So we pay, once we make the determination, we really pay for your services throughout your time under Health Connect Jamaica.
And how are you able to do this?
So we have designed a new method of being able to pay for both laboratories and clinical and doctor services. And we received the kind grant funding from the U.S. government.
And how do you how do you reach your target audience or target market? What are the methods that you employ? Because surely we still, as much as we've come a long way, there is still stigma and discrimination. And so some people are even shy to try and find out where they can go and get help, especially in this instance, the private sector. How do you reach your target audience?
Sure. So today is one of those activities.
Mhm.
We try to get the message out through all the traditional media platforms. We also have a presence on social media, so you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at our handle Health Connect JA. That's Health Connect JA on all three of the platforms. We also, when we onboard our doctors who are already seeing clients who need additional help and who are going to be contributing to the overall impact of Health Connect Jamaica, those clients are also offered access to our services. So pre-existing clients who are already seeing doctors in the private sector, along with our direct-to-client marketing, as we call it.
I was reading relatively recently a story seemingly suggesting that we're getting better at managing HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, and and possibly we could get to. We still have some ways to go, but it could become more manageable. From what you have seen, heard, read, experienced here in Jamaica, how are we doing in that regard?
Sure. So I've been working in HIV in Jamaica since 2007, actually. So I can tell you that things have come a really long way. The drugs that we have available are now on par to international standards. We have the best available options for everyone. Very few side effects, so in that regard, the possibilities are to be able to reach those really high levels. However, when we look at the sort of the numbers in Jamaica, in order to reach that epidemic control, the number of people who are getting access to those great drugs have to double. So, when you think about what we see at the public health clinics at the moment, their ability to double in size to the service delivery, the number of clients, it's almost impossible. So that is why we have embarked on this venture of Health Connect Jamaica, to be able to make access to the private sector affordable and available for all people living with HIV, regardless of their ability to pay for those services.
What's the extent of the public-private partnership model that is being employed in the operation of Health Connect Jamaica?
Right. So we've designed the project in order to eventually proceed towards an official PPP with the Ministry of Health and the Government of Jamaica. Currently, we have a memorandum of an understanding with the Ministry of Health, which we signed, and that's between the University of the West Indies, because Health Connect Jamaica is a project to the Faculty of Medical Sciences of UWI. So they have an MOU between UWI and the Government of Jamaica, where we are going to test and prove that this model of service delivery with inclusion of affordable private sector services is sustainable and can be supported in the long term by the Government of Jamaica.
For someone listening to us now who is still a little nervous or wary but wants to connect with Health Connect Jamaica, what's the procedure? I need your help. I need to visit Health Connect Jamaica to benefit from the services. What do I need to know? What do I need to do?
Sure. So connecting with us is really easy. We try to cater for all walks of life. So it's as simple as picking up the phone and calling 669-7349. That's 669-7349. You'll speak to one of our team members who will connect you with all of the services that you need or you require, you request from us. That can be either a doctor only. We can set you up with counseling, doctors, pharmacies, labs, a full gamut of services. We also have what we call our case managers, and they are there to hold your hand and walk you through your whole treatment journey. So you will have support. People will be available for you to ask questions. If you have any concerns, something happens suddenly and you need help getting access to your drugs, we are there throughout the entire process. You can also contact us through our website, which is healthconnectja.com, healthconnectja.com. And on that website, you can actually book for services. You can book and say if you know your status and you want to see a doctor, you can book to see a doctor. If you don't know your status and you want to get a test, you can book to get tested. There's also an icon for the WhatsApp group. So if you click on the icon for WhatsApp, you can speak confidentially with one of our healthcare team again, and they will be able to link you to the services that you require. So or you can reach us through our social media. So that's either Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram with the handle Health Connect JA. So through any of those means, please reach out if you are somebody who needs HIV treatment and care, or if you know somebody who needs HIV treatment and care. Please reach us so that we can really help and assist you to live a healthy, productive, and better future for your lives. Thank you.
And you seem to take a holistic approach. So it's not just, okay, here's the test. Here are the results. Have a nice day. Certainly not. Not in that curt manner.
No, certainly not. So we hold your hand all the way through. So from the diagnosis, even if you test negative, and you need to have support in order to improve your sexual health, we're there for that as well. So whether you're negative or positive, if you are positive, unfortunately, we link you directly to one of our really great doctors. So these are doctors who've been working in Jamaica for many years. They have existing practices, and they have agreed to come on board with Health Connect Jamaica because they understand that in order for us to reach epidemic control for HIV in Jamaica, we need to involve the private sector. People need to be able to access those services regardless of their ability to pay for them.
And short of picking up the phone and calling, as you said earlier on, calling 669-7349, how do you follow up or ensure that the clients don't fall behind, for example, in taking their meds?
Right. So we also link folks to pharmacies. So we know when medications are being picked up. We know how long the prescriptions that the doctor is writing them for. We have automated reminders through our online application, our online reservation application. So clients will receive a reminder. You need to take your medication today. Your medication is almost out of date. You need to go to the pharmacy with your prescription. And we're going to be looking into rolling out what's called a decentralized drug delivery system, where we're going to get those drugs to the clients without them having to visit the pharmacy. But we'll talk about that more the next time I come onto the call.
Looking forward to that. Thank you very much as usual. In the meantime, listeners, persons living with HIV/AIDS and persons who want to know your status, that's what Health Connect Jamaica is about. That and so much more. You can send them an email as well, healthconnectja@gmail.com or info@healthconnectja.com. And that phone number again, 669-7349, 669-7349. Thank you very much as usual. No doubt we'll be in touch going forward, Dr. Barrow. Well done to you and the Health Connect Jamaica team and your partners.
Thank you so much for having us on, and we look forward to giving you more updates in the future.
Definitely. Thanks a lot. Dr. Jeffrey Barrow, Director, Health Connect Jamaica. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Environmental Solutions Limited would like to wish Jamaica a happy World Environment Day 2021. With over 30 years of global experience in environmental management and analytical services, we work together with our clients to design and implement sustainable solutions that facilitate harmony between development and the environment. We encourage all citizens to take actions that safeguard our nation's environment. This World Environment Day, let us reimagine, recreate, and restore nature for the benefit of environmental and human health.
Tune into Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for First Hand in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport First Hand team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. First Hand in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions is brought to you by Newport First Hand Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
The lips of righteous teaches many, but fools.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Here's a message on WhatsApp from Genius in Patty Hill. Genius says, "Pleasant afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I'm Genius from Patty Hill. I know that doctors and nurses in Jamaica, even when they come from foreign, operate all different ways other than their own ways. I took my 18-year-old son to Cornwall Regional at 11 p.m. and he sat there in an old mash-up wheelchair until 3 p.m. before he was before this. I'm just trying to translate in a manner of speaking as we go along, just for coherence. Before they began to attend to him, or before a doctor attended to him, my son was dehydrated from home before he reached the hospital, and the doctor who attended to him, same place in the wheelchair, when you say to the doctor, don't draw blood from him until he gets fluid, another doctor says he shouldn't listen to me. He is the doctor, and he drew 2 tubes of blood, and my son died while he was drawing the third, and he didn't even see that my son was dead. He was just still drawing blood. And when I told the administrator what had happened, the doctors and the nurses, including the consultant, were talking a different thing from what happened. Jamaica is heading to a place where people gonna dead like flies. Well, people have been dying, sadly, for more reasons than one, because the revenge is boiling over more and more. We are terribly sorry to hear about your son, Genius, in Patty Hill. That's an awful, awful way to go. And this is the thing, which is the other point we wanted to make when we spoke with the caller on WhatsApp earlier on, that it's very difficult, and it's not, maybe it's different in the United States and elsewhere, maybe, but it's very difficult to successfully sue health professionals in Jamaica. It hardly ever happens, if at all. It's invariably what tends to happen, or what would have happened over the years. The government takes responsibility based on the circumstances, and the government cuts a check to the bereaved family. Invariably, that's what happens. But you can't win. You can't win. From our experience and what we have heard and read and seen, it's difficult. Really difficult. And we would hope that the mistakes are at a minimum or pretty close to zero. But it is true that to err is human, and human error is not limited to only certain professions. every profession, including the medical profession. But sadly, those cases are, well, such cases hardly get anywhere or go anywhere. But as we have been saying ever since we learned the expression "do no harm," we've been repeating it ever so often, because really that's what, if more of us were to take that position, then we would perhaps have less misery and misfortune. Do no harm. Whether we are medical professionals, broadcasters, talk show hosts, whatever, do no harm. And yes, we do know that with the best of intentions, things sometimes turn out or do not turn out exactly how we would have planned. But it's one of those things. Genius in Patty Hill, again, so sorry to hear of the tragic loss of your son. So sorry. Crocs in Black River says, "Good day, Mr. Malcolm. It should also be remembered that politicians," and he spells politicians in bold letters, that politicians we listed as part of the first priority group, politicians we listed as, or were listed as part of the first priority group to receive the vaccine, and that, I dare say, includes the Prime Minister. It was only after protests that other things were said. Well, you know, one of the beautiful things about living in this world, Crocs in Black River, the information is out there for everybody to see, both real and fake. The information is out there for everybody to see. And we have enough sources of bona fide, verifiable information. So it is what it is. Thank you very much for your message. Jean McKenzie says, "Mr. Dervan, some of those nurses and doctors are laws unto themselves. Some of the nurses, more so than the doctors, are rude and argumentative towards patients. Sometimes I am sure it is a power issue. I am a nurse and you should hear me. I say this because I have observed nurses behaving aggressively towards patients in 2 hospitals. Let me see now. Should I have called the person's name who sent us this message? Or maybe we should just jump over a couple of data points just for her own protection. Let's see. Behaving aggressively towards patients in 2 hospitals. So I won't name the hospitals. But she says, in one case, while at the hospital, I observed a nurse pointing her fingers with artificial nails into the face of an elderly patient. I waited for the right moment and challenged her action, noting that it's noticeable. Noting that it was noticeable the patient had dementia. She explained to me she did not know. Later, I observed her reading a patient file. Then she came over to me and confirmed that the patient did have dementia, and she was sorry to have expressed her behavior in that way. I told her that my being a lecturer in sociology and health studies would have expected her to be much more aware of person-centered care and respecting individuals' needs. Therefore, Mr. Dervan, we need to accept that some of them are unprofessional and need more training in communication care skills. You're perfectly correct. Thank you for your message on WhatsApp. And the other element to this is failing to seek first to understand than to be understood. That's something we don't do very well. Seek first to understand than to be understood. Something we don't do very well. Because it's when this thing called ego takes over, it's all about me, 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 I, my. Yeah. Thanks for your message. Thanks for sharing. Here's another message on WhatsApp. Dervan, I'm here listening to you and the callers. Any death of that sort is one too many. But the fact is, there's not enough medical personnel to man any medical facilities. I'm a medical doctor in the Manchester area, and I had the need for an emergency service, and I went into a public hospital. And let me tell you, I received 5-star treatment, and no one knew I was a doctor. When I was discharged, I informed them of my profession. Thank you very much for sharing your story, Doc. Thank you. And as we said, remember we said earlier on that sometime last year we received from a patient, a former patient of Spanish Town Hospital, glowing tributes and accolades of, first of all, how the hospital didn't feel like a hospital. It was more like a hotel. And properly sanitized, pleasant team members, etc. Which is why, as I said, when I heard the news, I said, no, that can't be the same. That couldn't be the same Spanish Town Hospital. So that's it. As we said earlier on as well, it might take 100, 200, 500, 1,000 people, or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to build a reputation of excellence. But then all it takes is one individual to go rogue. Just one individual to go rogue, or one individual to miss the spot, so to speak. And an entire institution and all those therein are tarnished for life. Such is the nature of life. More in a moment.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. Pension order vouchers with payable dates in June 2021 may be encashed as of June 3. Collect all your June payments at once at your designated post office. Please note, pension vouchers can only be encashed at post offices. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4:01分。 a minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dervan, to you and your listeners.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, may the God of peace be with us all.
Amen.
Yeah, I just called to tell you thanks and to keep in the loop where I am with the project that I talked to you on some time ago. I'm making good progress and really have a big salute for you.
We humbly accept. Happy to hear you're making headway.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
It's a awesome project, and the more I delve in it, is the more I see the awesomeness of it. Last night, I called someone to ask them for some information on Caymanas. I wasn't sure if Caymanas estate. I know that it was two Caymanas, Dawkins Caymanas and Ellis Caymanas, but I wasn't sure which is which.
There's a book. There's the book. Do you have a copy of the book on Portmore?
No.
There's a book on Portmore.
Okay, thank you.
And it starts out by talking about the Dawkins family, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that could help you.
Thanks.
Yes.
But I just found out that the gentleman had died, Mr. Hamilton.
Oh, yes. We did meet him some years ago. We did a broadcast, Alti Hilton and myself. We have done a few broadcasts over at Caymanas.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, excellent one. And
tall, stately gentleman.
Indeed. No, they on Google, when I Googled him last night and was reading, his wife said he was a gentleman.
A gentle gentleman.
A gentle gentleman.
Yes.
He's Scottish.
Yes.
He came from Scotland at maybe age 35, I think they said.
Yeah, and he's named for a very famous Caribbean man, the great Alexander Hamilton, who essentially was responsible. Well, he's from that. Alexander Hamilton was from Nevis, in the Twin Island nation of St. Kitts, Nevis, and he became a very powerful man in the United States of America. He was responsible for setting up the U.S. Coast Guard, the Central Bank, a host of other institutions that this Alexander Hamilton was responsible for. A very powerful man in the United States. He, in fact, borrowed America's first loan.
Yes.
And paid it back in less than a year. It was the what year was that again? It was on the 8th of June. The 8th of June, 1790, in his capacity as America's first Treasury Secretary, the great Alexander Hamilton repaid the United States of America's first loan, which was borrowed on the 18th of September, 1789. The amount of money that he borrowed in the name of the United States of America and repaid was $191,608.81. And I've never heard of, well, maybe there is another, but I've never heard of another Treasury Secretary or Finance Minister or Chancellor of the Exchequer, etc., who would have made a decision to borrow money to take out the country's first loan, which is what Alexander Hamilton did, and paid it back in less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm
sorry,
happy that-
I digressed. You were referring to Alexander Hamilton, who had that large land holding at Caymanas
Yeah,
estate.
26,000 acres.
Yes,
It was
yes,
26,000 acres.
yes.
I'm happy that you had interviewed him along with the Gleaner, you know?
Yes.
I'm so happy. I knew him, I saw him at conferences. I saw the Jamaica Association of Sugar Technologies
Yes.
conference. And he was a very stately gentleman.
Yes, he was.
One of the things that he always reflect on was the crosswinds at Caymanas. There's a wind that blows right across the estates, and it was very impactful on the estate's operations.
Yes.
So hence the ad was to plant, for those who may know back then, they had a whole line of bananas, a particular variety of banana from out White Mall go right down to the police station, just to protect the estate from the wind, the crosswinds. And it's possible that the crosswinds would have affected the golf and the polo that they played there as well.
Oh.
Yes. But I have an experience up in Kentucky. I went to Bowling Green, and there's a similar crosswinds up there as well, you know. And I think in the climate change, they should maybe engage the University of Kentucky, Western Kentucky, to look at both crosswinds and to maybe compare and contrast it and look at the timing of the race and so on and so forth. That could be a venture that would bring excitement and bring a different complexion of things in that area, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a proposal worth pursuing.
Indeed. And I think Caymanas should have an entire week for this gentleman. He's too awesome. You can Google him and read about him, Ralston. They really, it's the Gleaner put most of the information to Google. And I'm so happy for what they have done. And I think they should have an entire week for him. Because even Hamilton Gardens, before Hamilton Gardens, Buster, the Prime Minister Buster, spoke so glowingly about him, you know, his contribution and the Caymanas estate contribution to the Jamaican economy and such, you know. And then they tell you about how Hamilton Gardens came about. Say he was passing through a political meeting and stopped by. So Mr. Manley saw him and stopped and said, look who's here with us. Great Mr. Havey Hamilton. And I can tell you, he has just offered us a bit of land. And he was so taken aback that he couldn't do anything better than give them the bit of land to build Hamilton Garden.
There was also an issue of the area that is now known as Sufferers Heights.
Okay.
That would have been his land as well, apparently.
Yeah.
And would have been taken over by people in that area.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to keep it up, but when I looked on the Scottish connection to Jamaica, it could be reasonably assessed that it's about 40% of the Jamaican names are of Scottish origin.
Yeah, that has been documented, actually. I read that. Where did I read that? Might have been there's a book of Jamaican place names that I have. I think that's the book that highlighted a number of
Inez Nib's book. Inez Nib.
No, this one is, I think one of the authors is Higman, is it?
Yeah,
Higman?
yeah, double G, Igman.
Yes.
The Australian.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't have that, but I have the survey, Jamaica survey.
Right.
Yeah, Igman wrote Jamaica survey as well. That's an excellent book.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I make a rough estimate, uneducated guess that it would be about 40%, or upwards of 40% of the names. No? But the real connection of the Scottish to Jamaica came about from the Battle of Carlisle. Are you aware?
Say that again, the real
connection of Scotland to Jamaica came out of the Battle of Carlisle.
Carlisle Bay.
Yes.
Yes. I think I shared that information. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. I think I shared that information this week.
Okay. I wasn't aware. Aware. Yeah. Because sometimes the connection is not well. We don't hear you so well sometimes.
Yes, that's something we've been grappling with.
Yes. All right. Yeah. After the Battle of Carlisle and the devastation, Scotland invested in the Monmouth Sugar Estate. And not only the Monmouth Sugar Estate, that was in about, I can't pinpoint the exact date, but it's somewhere, it's before 1710. Anywhere between 1703 to 1710, the Monmouth Estate was erected. And if you Google Monmouth, Scotland, it's a large area in Scotland. Monmouth Post Office, Monmouth, the district in Scotland is a huge district. Plus, there's a castle there. That castle, from which the owners of the Monmouth Estate, there's a huge amount of information at the castle at this moment about Jamaica.
Right. So some of the famous Scottish place names.
Yes.
Because the story is told that on the 23rd of March, 1848, the ship John Wycliffe arrived at Port Chalmers carrying the first Scottish settlers from Dunedin, New Zealand. Otago province was founded. So that's a bit of that history. But then here in Jamaica, the Scots arrived in two main waves.
Okay.
The first in 1655. That was the first wave, 1655, when as prisoners of war, they were sold as bond, meaning indentured servants, to the English. And the second wave was 1745 to 1746, after the failure of the Jacobite rebellion. Let's come back to that after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Environmental Technical and Analytical Services Limited, ETAS, offers comprehensive environmental management services. They specialize in water and wastewater testing, environmental auditing and impact assessment, preparation of project proposals for NGOs, project management and implementation for NGOs, soil analysis, and much more. Environmental Technical and Analytical Services Limited, ETAS, PO Box 28, Kingston 6, telephone 876-927-1944, PCJ Laboratories, Hope Gardens.
15 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. The 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 first wave, as we said in reference to the Scots arriving in Jamaica, they arrived in two main waves. The first in 1655, when as prisoners of war they were sold as bond, indentured servants, to the English, and the second the second wave from 1745 to 1746, after the failure of the Jacobite rebellion. The word Jacobite refers to supporters of James II's claim to the English throne. One of the most significant Scottish settlements occurred in 1700 in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, a year after the failure of an expedition to Darien, Panama, famously or infamously called the Darien Expedition. And that's how the name Malcolm came to Jamaica as well.
Okay.
On that failed Scottish
Okay.
expedition, the Darien Expedition. Darien, on the eastern part of the Isthmus of Panama, between the Gulf of Darien on the Caribbean coast and the Gulf of San Miguel on the Pacific coast. Darien is actually chiefly within the Republic of Panama, but extends also into Colombia. The Darien expedition referred to a disastrous attempt to establish a Scottish colony in 1698. But after the failure of the Darien expedition, Colonel John Campbell, who was a captain at Darien in Panama, settled in Jamaica, got married, and became a member of the Jamaican gentry. That is possible. That's possibly how the surname Campbell was introduced in Jamaica.
Okay.
The first Campbell would have been John Campbell.
Campbell, yeah.
And John Campbell will not be representing the West Indies as the opening batsman, by the way, in the first test that starts, is it tomorrow, I think?
Yes,
against
tomorrow.
South Africa.
Yes, tomorrow.
Yeah, poor John Campbell. He tried, but yeah, it's just that's the way it is.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was the first Campbell, John Campbell.
Yeah.
Now I believe if you check with the Registrar General's Department,
yes,
you would find that Campbell is one of the most popular surnames in Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a Campbell.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, my grandmother.
Case in point.
Yeah, my grandmother. Yeah.
I understand. But sorry, go ahead.
I'm done and Campbell.
Right.
Hartley, Crossburn.
I am Roberts and Malcolm. Roberts, my mother's name, and Malcolm, my father.
Yes, yes.
Right, which are both Scottish names. But to get back to the history of the Scots in Jamaica, by 1750,
yeah,
the Scots accounted for 1/3 of Jamaica's white population.
Okay.
In fact, Scots were encouraged to in the 19th century, following emancipation, when the government attempted to establish rural villages, European townships, to increase the white population.
Okay.
And the Scots were thought to be well suited mountainous regions of Portland.
Okay.
But after a few years, many of them died as a result of illness.
Yeah.
Those who survived melded in with maroon life in Moortown and Millbank.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most famous or infamous Scottish immigrant is Lewis Hutchinson.
Yes, I read about him.
Better known as the Mad Master of Edinburgh Castle.
Okay.
He was captured and hanged for countless murders.
Yes, up in St. Anne's.
That's right.
Yeah,
but then again, on the other end of the spectrum, the Scots have given us St. Andrew Scots Kirk Church on Church Street in downtown Kingston.
Yeah.
The influence was quite perversive in Jamaica.
Yeah.
For example, Culloden in Westmoreland is a famous Scottish place name.
Really?
Yes,
I think
Culloden.
Okay, I wasn't aware.
Yeah, Culloden is an area near
Yeah.
Inverness. That's another borrowed place name used here in Jamaica. Inverness in northern Scotland.
Okay.
It was the site of a battle in 1746 in which government troops under the Duke of Cumberland, that's
Yeah.
another familiar place name in Jamaica, Cumberland.
Yes.
So Culloden, near Inverness in northern Scotland, is where the Duke of Cumberland defeated the Jacobites under Prince Charles Edward Stuart.
Yes.
And then, of course, the other famous Scottish place names, Caledonia, Stirling,
Caledonia.
yes,
Really?
Stirling Castle, Glasgow, Aberdeen,
Yeah.
Southfield, Culloden,
Southfield?
yes, Southfield,
Really?
Dumfries, Blackness, Deeside, Galloway, Montrose, Roslin Castle, Albany, Argyll, Berrydale, Leith, Paisley,
Yeah, but to a maximum.
yes, Dumbarton, Dunbar, Dundee,
Yeah.
Dunkeld, Dunrobin,
Yeah.
Haddington,
Yeah.
Keith Hall, Mount Vernon,
Yeah.
and Tullow, Armadale, yes, Banff, Burnside, Clydesdale, Craighead, Craigie, Dalvey,
Yeah.
Dornoch,
Yeah.
Offhouse, Eldersley, Merton, Nairn, Roxborough, Ruthven.
But it's all of Jamaica.
Yeah, Stewarton, Tanside, Abbey Green, Alves, Arthur's Seat in Clarendon.
Yeah. No, Arthur's Seat.
Yes.
Was, yeah.
Auchenbeddy,
Yeah.
Bellwood, Eglinton, Elphinstowe, Flemington, Freefield, Glenmore. Not to be
Glenmore.
confused with Glenmuir,
Yeah.
because Glenmuir is named after this gentleman. We'll come back to that. But anyway, Glenmore, Gordon Castle,
Yeah.
Greenock, Home Castle, Jock's Lodge,
Yeah.
Kenmure,
Yeah.
Kelly Cranky,
Yeah.
Kinloss, Marchmont, Maybole, Melrose, Minto,
Yeah.
Mount Blow,
Yeah.
Muirhead,
Yeah.
Papine.
Yeah.
Right, so it's that one gives me a hint now to remind me that Muirhead, Mr. Muirhead,
Yeah.
from, I think he's a former Custos in Clarendon.
Clarendon, yeah.
And so that area known as, that's how Glenmuir got its name. Glen speaks to an area, I believe, a wooded area. I'm trying to remember. I hope I'm not confusing it with Pennsylvania, and Sylvania being a wooded area. But a glen refers to a narrow valley, especially in Scotland or Ireland.
Okay.
But let's just finish quickly. I'll finish quickly on in terms of the place names.
Mhm.
Right, so there's Muirhead, Papine, Perth, Ravens, yes,
Okay.
Ravenswood.
Yeah.
Although our friends from St. Jago would tell us that they're located in Ravensworth.
Okay.
In Spanish Town.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a place in Jamaica called Scotland.
Yeah, man.
There
yes.
is.
And, right in Pope Pastors.
There you go. Yes.
Scotland Drive.
There's
Scotland Drive in Pope Pastors.
There is Seafield, Stirling, Stonefield, Strathbogie.
Okay, in Westmoreland.
Yes, Strathdon.
Okay.
Waterton.
Yeah.
In fact, of the 116 districts, neighborhoods, and suburbs that have been identified to date in Greater Kingston, 28 or 24.1% can be found in Scotland or are based on Scottish family names.
All right, we're wrapping up now. That's why I am saying if there is one time in our history that we can move forward and change as a country is now at the global conference in Scotland. There's no other time and no other opportunity. And we should grasp this opportunity to the maximum I'm establishing a secretariat for the conference, Clarendon, Scotland Global Conference, and I'm setting up a secretariat. I'd be so delighted if you would serve on the secretariat. I'd be thankful to you, mercifully thankful, because we really want to push this thing forward. I know that it's something that has been heaven made for me. Closing. I have 2 books. 2 of my books is at the University of St. Andrews, miraculously, how they reached how they was lodged at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. Plus, the gentleman, the ambassador the consul general that you allowed me to be in contact with. So I really want to push this forward, and I'm inviting you if you would serve on the secretariat, I'd spoken to Dr. Charu, Dr. Never Graham from the University of Medical Science, and he's aware of my discussion with him, and I really want to ensure I'm working in an overdrive just to finish up the text and to let it be published there for the conference. Plus, I have other ideas that I would like to see flow from it,
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we can talk further.
Okay, good. And keep strong, and God's blessings upon you always.
Thank
and
you.
Be very good. Yeah, good.
And to you too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello? That person got tired of holding. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I am here, Dervan. Salmon Scott here.
Good afternoon, Shalman Scott from Scotland.
Yeah, Scott. Interestingly, I just while you were talking about Scotland, I remember our distinguished national hero, George William Gordon, whose father was a Scottish planter here in Jamaica.
There's another one too. Which other Jamaican is a politician? There's another one. Jeez.
I just remember George off the bat.
I was reading it in Olive Senior's book.
Right.
I can't. Oh gosh. I'm not
Don't worry
remembering.
about
Yeah,
it.
but
If
go
we
ahead.
come back, we'll get it on another time.
Yes.
But talking about book, the gentleman mentioned Inez Lib.
Yes.
But her correct name was really Sibley. She was married. She was the great-granddaughter. Inez Sibley was the great-granddaughter of William Lib.
I suspected so. Mm-hmm.
Right. So she had a contract with the government. She was responsible for writing the history of the Baptist movement in Jamaica, and both for the government and for the Jamaica Baptist Union. And and she then one of her books was on named places in Jamaica, and had some very interesting information actually in that work that she did for the government Ministry of Education. Yeah. I call you though, Dervan, interestingly enough that you're on history, because this morning I tried to get Ralston. What the
Sorry, can you tell us after the break, please? One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Environmental Technical and Analytical Services Limited, ETAS, offers comprehensive environmental management services. They specialize in water and wastewater testing, environmental auditing and impact assessment, preparation of project proposals for NGOs, project management and implementation for NGOs, soil analysis, and much more. Environmental Technical and Analytical Services Limited, ETAS, PO Box 28, Kingston 6, telephone 876-927-1944, ECJ Laboratories, Hope Gardens.
NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. Pension order vouchers with payable dates in June 2021 may be encashed as of June 3. Collect all your June payments at once at your designated post office. Please note, pension vouchers can only be encashed at post offices. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Poor roads a major concern? What about those drains that are in need of repair or cleaning? Who's responsible for repairing my road and when will it be done? Join us this and every Tuesday morning at 8 during Morning Agenda as we travel on our roads with the National Works Agency and get answers to these and other concerns. You're welcome to visit their website at www.nwa.gov.jm. See the tender notices link for projects to be undertaken. You may also call them toll-free at 1-888-429-5NWA. That's 1-888-429-5692, or follow them on Twitter at NWA_JA and Facebook at www.facebook.com/NWA Jamaica. The National Works Agency, developing safe, reliable, and quality roads.
The poor man's wealth is in a holy.
28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. Usually at this time, we are scheduled to have our weekly feature Diaspora Check-In sponsored by Western Union. The feature is on. Bear with us. We're just going to allow Shalman Scott to complete what he started sharing with us just before the break, and then we take Diaspora Check-In. Yes, Mr. Scott.
Yes, thanks very much. What happened is that this morning I called Ralston and Dr. Sutherland to discuss the same matter, but the caller before me, when it was coming to the end of the program, only gave me 2 minutes.
Oh.
So, but I called to mention the fact that there is in Montego Bay the old slave ring. The old slave ring was where slaves were being auctioned, and it's situated at 42 Union Street. But before that place was selected, which is regarded to be the back of the town, the auctioning of slaves were taking place in the square. And Montego Bay was at one stage, the only slave auction facility in Western Jamaica. So the planters would come in from around Western Jamaica to come and buy their slaves. Well, what happened in Sam Sharp Square is that the planters, dressed in their finest suit, would be standing on the balcony of the old courthouse, the old municipal building, while their male assistant would be down on the ground inspecting the slaves, including searching the women private parts to see if they were suited to be purchased. So eventually and ironically, the white planters' wives in the county of Cornwall led a deputation to the local municipal system and all the rest of it to have the auctioning of the slaves removed from some Sharp Square to the back of the town, which was 42 Union Street. So that is where they moved it. They did not say they were to cut it out, is that they were just to move it out of sight. And so they went to 42 Union Street, and that became the major slave trading, slave auction area for several decades, many years. It so happened that the slaves, many of them, put up their last effort to get away and many of them were shot on site there, and so their blood is in the soil there. This Cotton Tree Lounge, which was a hotel, because the slave masters come in and would stay at the hotel on the compound where the trading is going to take place, or they would stay next door, which is the Walpole Inn, owned by General Walpole, who was involved with the Second Maroon War in Upper St. James and so on, which we'll discuss another time. What has happened, Dervan, is that in 2004, the Honorable Michael Manley government declared the address at 42A Union Street to be a national monument. Nothing has been done for the last 17 years since that declaration, more than to have the building continue to deteriorate, and now the roof of the building has rotted and fall within the building.
Oh no.
A national monument.
That's not
for
good.
17 years, with a number of members of parliament that has represented the area and all the rest of it, and the National Heritage Trust. Nothing was done. Very interestingly.
Well, we hope the Jamaica National Heritage Trust knows about this and that they will act forthwith to secure and properly re-roof the structure.
Yes.
We really hope so. But thanks for bringing that to our attention. Sorry, would love to talk some more.
No problem.
But
I
we have
understand.
to go to the
I
feature.
appreciate.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate. I'm listening.
All the best. Take care.
All the best.
Take care. Shalmon Scott, former retired public servant, teacher, historian, former mayor, etc., etc., etc. Thank you very much, Mr. Scott. We're going to this week's edition now of Diaspora Check-In, brought to you by Western Union.
Diaspora Check-In during both sides of the story is brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
This week on Diaspora Check-In, we are going to preview an online event. You know, it's the age for that, right? A webinar. Own your piece of the rock, beginning to end. It's a collaborative effort. The Jamaican Diaspora en France, in association with Integrated Diaspora Services, IDS, and who better to give us the information than Nordia Teep, one of the founders and directors of Integrated Diaspora Services. Hi, Nordia, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us here on Diaspora Check-In on both sides of the story.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. We also have Ambassador and Advisor to Jamaica Diaspora en France, René Foster. Bonjour René, ça va?
Bonjour, ça va bien?
Thank you both so much for joining us. Just for the record, and so we ensure that everybody is on the same page, all those listening to us, maybe they said they heard my reference to Integrated Diaspora Services and they're going, really? I've never heard of that before. So let's start there before we also ask René Foster, Ambassador Advisor, to tell us more about Jamaica Diaspora en France. But first, Integrated Diaspora Services, Nordia Teep.
Integrated Diaspora Services is a one-stop shop solution for the diaspora, persons in diaspora, wherever they may be across the globe, who want to do business in Jamaica, whether for commercial purposes or personal, right? So we provide that vehicle that trusted vehicle which has been endorsed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to assist wherever you may be, in accessing services from the government services, in accessing such as your tax registration number, TRN, renewal of your driver's license, among those things. We also assist you with legal issues. Many persons have issues such as with their land titles, acquisition of their titles, any legal matter really. We have partnered with different suppliers or experts from Jamaica who we partner with to assist our customers in accessing these services. Upcoming, you'll also hear why we are having the event on the 10th, is that we also provide that avenue to which persons who want to invest in Jamaica via land or purchase of a property, if they want services such as property management. IDS also facilitates that type of service.
Yeah.
Among many more.
Of course, hold it right there as Renee Foster gives us the details on Jamaica Diaspora en France.
Absolutely. So the Jamaican Diaspora of France is this initiative. It's this amazing initiative that in our Jamaican parlance will look out for Jamaicans and friends of Jamaicans, irrespective of where you are. We currently are focused on France, but we serve as a conduit just to help Jamaicans to we provide assistance to the members of the community. Any issues they may have from time to time, we try to monitor them. And also importantly is that we try to bring the culture of Jamaica into France. For those who might get homesick, we try to remind them and provide the things there in France that helps them to feel at home as they settle into a new area. So from basic information to connection with different agencies to looking out for their welfare back home, we take part in that. Hence, this collaboration with IDS as one of the objectives. We will be helping them now to get their own piece of the rock in Jamaica. So that's how we come together, because we look out for the interests of Jamaicans and friends of Jamaicans, especially in France and in the European region.
Thank you very much. So that now that we have laid the foundation, let's build on it. Listeners, the Jamaican Diaspora en France, in association with Integrated Diaspora Services, will be staging a webinar tomorrow. And let's get the details, Nordia Teep. What prompted this latest webinar?
I think one of the greatest things that a lot of persons want to own a piece of the rock or own their own piece of Jamaica. One of the greatest achievements is really to own their own home, yes, or for others invest in property. However, a drawback is that a lot of people don't know about the process from end to end. And as a result, they get frustrated. They are clueless sometimes. They are shafted by different individuals who may have educated them in the wrong way. So this forum is really to provide information, the key moving parts that is involved in acquisition of property, whether for commercial purposes or personal, in Jamaica, from the experts in the field. We'll have head of real estate board of Jamaica, Andrew James, come to talk about the realtor aspects of it.
All right, hold it at Andrew James. We'll come back with the others in a moment. Listeners, we're giving you a preview, those here at home and across the diaspora, of tomorrow's webinar, Own Your Piece of the Rock, beginning to end, organized by Integrated Diaspora Services and the Jamaican Diaspora en France. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
15 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica.
Win big this summer. Enter the Gleaner Star Luxurious Escape Competition. Win the grand prize of 2 weekends for two at an all-inclusive hotel plus $25,000 in groceries, weekly cash prizes, and more. Buy a printed copy of the Gleaner Star. Enter the serial number at the front page by texting 876-322-7967 or online at gleanerluxury.com. Competition runs from June 6 to July 10, 2021. See the Gleaner and the Star for details. Your luxurious escape awaits.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5 heures moins 14. 现在几点了？5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? We can tell you that we have some very productive diaspora-centered organizations at home and abroad. Two of those in the spotlight right now. The Jamaican Diaspora en France. That's the Jamaican Diaspora. En is spelled E-N. France is spelled France. F-R-A-N-C-E. So the Jamaican Diaspora en France, in association with Integrated Diaspora Services, presenting Own Your Piece of the Rock, beginning to end. It's a webinar. It takes place tomorrow at midday Jamaica time, which is 7 o'clock in the evening Paris time. And the program, the webinar will be chaired by Ambassador and Advisor to the Jamaican Diaspora en France, Renee Foster, who's online. And we'll ask her more about her role and the role of her association. And we also have, as you would have heard, Nordia Teep, who is founder director of Integrated Diaspora Services, your one-stop shop for members of the diaspora. In terms of, and I would imagine that goes both ways as well. Right. So, Nordia, I think you were giving us an idea of the participants, apart from Renee, who's going to be hosting, the participants in the Own Your Piece of the Rock webinar tomorrow at midday Jamaica time, 7 p.m. Paris time. Please continue.
Right. So in addition to the diva, Renee, we have
oh, you're telling me. I just love this picture on the flyer. I mean, it's like,
yes.
I mean, she's, yes. Why is she not on the runway in Paris and Milan and these places? But anyway, we digressed. Come on, let's focus.
Right. So we have the chairman of the real estate board and commissioner of Strata Corporation, Andrew James, who will be there to speak from the realtor's view, so our audience can learn more about that. We'll have Tamika Jordan, who is the principal and legal consultant of MJ Law Global, who will be exploring the legal part that many persons are not off it. A lot of persons are clueless about what happens when it comes onto the legal aspects, the legal process involved in acquiring a property. We will have Sir Lenworth Kelly, who is the president of Master Builders Association of Jamaica, who will be exploring that aspect, the development aspect. Should persons want to do development or more the investment, construction part, more about the contractors. A lot of persons have been shafted, we've been told,
Yes.
in the construction, and afraid to the business in Jamaica because they don't know how to choose a contractor, how to trust them.
True.
But we have Sir Lenworth Kelly will be coming to expound more on that process. And then we have Sir Leighton Smith, the MBS Overseas Chief Representative Officer. A lot of persons may have their cash but may not want to use it and want to access a mortgage facility in Jamaica. And so he will be exploring how to do that and how to, how members can access that facility, because you can be pre-qualified and know how much you qualify for even before you find a property, and that will also guide your search. Then we have NHT, who will also talk about, how to access a mortgage. How can I start contributing? I mean, how long do I need to contribute to access my NHT benefits as a Jamaican, right? Then we have Roxanne and Renee, Roxanne Way Shirley, Renee Menzies McCollum from Guardsman, who are the marketing manager and managing director, respectively, who will be exploring safety, home protection, which is a major issue, Dervan. Many persons, the first, yes, I want to own a piece of the rock, but how can I guarantee my security? So all those will be explored by these expert and competent persons in the field, guiding persons into their ownership of a piece of the rock.
Absolutely. And give us a sense now, Renee Foster, of how the approach that you will take in marshalling the participants in this webinar in order to maximize the tremendous benefits that could flow from this.
Well, thank you so much again, and good afternoon or good evening to our listeners once more. It's the host, the person who mediates is very important in any event like this, because you have to take the individuals and you bring everything together. You ensure there's tightness as it relates to time,
yes,
and then you also control now the flow of the questions, the flow of the persons involved in the webinar, for it to come together. And that's very important, Dervan, because at this time, persons have been locked in during COVID for such a long period. People want to buy, people realize too in this period that being locked in a room somewhere in a foreign country might not be it. They could have actually quarantined right here in Jamaica. as the ambassador and advisor,
yeah,
my responsibility is to remind them every day why Jamaica is that location. Mm-hmm. I'm supported by Forbes magazine and so many other resources that speak so highly of the fact that we are the best location. And so my responsibility, yes, I act as the glue now, because all these parts are there. I act as the glue, cementing everything together to show the whole picture now that, hey, this is what you get when you get here. I'm the underground person.
Yes. And let me support you there. Sorry to cut you. Stick a pin, as my late mother would say. And let me support you there, because the evidence is all around us of the booming construction industry. A lot of housing developments, massive apartment complexes, townhouse complexes, all over. The cranes are everywhere. So it seems your timing is impeccable as far as this Own Your Piece of the Rock webinar is concerned, Renee.
Absolutely. And when you look at the appreciation of properties in Jamaica, in 5-6 years' time, some properties actually double on their value. I don't believe that happens anywhere else in the world. Besides, we have great weather all year. Because I am centered, and I actually live in Jamaica, I am a reminder every day. Dervan and I send them photos of mangoes, sugarcane, coconut, everything, to remind them on a real basis as to why Jamaica is the number one location, right? And so now, coming together with ideas, the services that they offer, we forge alliances now with these amazing people so that we serve them, the Jamaicans and the people who are friends of Jamaica, to do what they need to do in this beautiful land we call home. This land of wood, water, and enough cultural experience, And so I'm excited to be a part of this. Nardia and her team, we have this amazing synergy. We are on the phone literally all day looking out for the interests of Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica. And so this is the time. This is the time to purchase. This is the time to rebuild the Jamaican economy. This is the time to support the tourism sector. This is the time to say, hey, listen, we're little, we still Talawa. Come over here, things are happening here. Now is the time. And I'm excited, Dervan. I'm happy to be alive at this time. I'm very, very happy to be alive.
Yes, I hear it. Your enthusiasm, as I like to say, is quite infectious. Renee, give us the details now, please, Nordia Teep, in terms of those listening and watching at home and abroad who want to be a part of this Own Your Piece of the Rock Beginning to End webinar put on by the Jamaican Diaspora En France and Integrated Diaspora Services. How can we log on? How can we connect? How can we be a part of the experience at midday tomorrow, Jamaica time, 7 p.m. Paris time?
So tomorrow, as you said, tomorrow Jamaican time 12 p.m., Paris time 7 p.m., UK time 6 p.m. Using New York time, it will be 1 p.m., right? The Zoom information for those who want to, it will be aired or live streamed on all social media platforms, right? All of Integrated Diaspora Services, social media platforms. For the Zoom meeting ID, it is 890-0954-0296. That's 890-0954-0296. The passcode 503-581. 503-581. Live stream, hashtag Integrated Diaspora Services. If you need to contact us for more details, you can reach us at 876 Jamaica number, 876-852-7716. That's 876-852-7716. This is France. Number for France, 336-2303-3513. 336-2303-3513. And for the United States number, 1-347-737-0478. So that's 347-737-0478.
We're looking
So feel free
forward
to reach out to us.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to this webinar put on by the Jamaican Diaspora En France in association with Integrated Diaspora Services. Own Your Piece of the Rock Beginning to End. It's a webinar. You're invited. Midday tomorrow, Jamaica time, 1 o'clock in New York in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the evening in London, 7 p.m. in the evening or 7 in the evening Paris time. And it all happens tomorrow. Make sure you're a part of the experience. Leighton Smith of VMBS, Andrew James, who chairs the Real Estate Board and Commission of Strata Corporation, Natalie Fowler of the National Housing Trust, Tamika Jordan of MJ Law Global, Renee Menzies McCallum of I Protect Solutions Limited and Guardsman, Roxanne Ways Shirley, also of Guardsman, Nordia Teep of Integrated Diaspora Services, Lenworth Kelly of the Incorporated Master Builders, and of course, to bring it all together, the vivacious, energetic, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Renee Foster. We're out of time. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dervan, for having us. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to tomorrow. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that's it for this week's Au revoir. Au revoir, Renee. That's it for this week's edition of Diaspora Check-In.
Diaspora Check-In during both sides of the story was brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
And just before we go, a couple of messages. Sylviana Johnson, good afternoon. Millicent Morris, in reference to the Spanish Town situation, Spanish Town Hospital, says, I lost my baby there in 1987 and still going on. It's Jubilee going on it. I lost my baby there in 1987 and still going on it, Jubilee, but we stopped there because of emergency. I told the nurse to do something, and the doctor came. The same thing I said. Some more something. Keep it short. Blessings. Keep up your good work. Missing some of what you're saying. Not sure why. Something is a little incoherent there, but sorry to hear of your experience. And all the best. Good afternoon, Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.